Now then, Civvy up. Welcome to the vidIQ live stream. My name's Rob, and why am I talking like this? Well, everybody, I am a proud British citizen. I'm a proud Canadian citizen, but today I am 100% Yorkshire. August the 1st is Yorkshire Day, and I am a true Yorkshire person. So, hey up, how you doing? I'm going to teach you some Yorkshire lingo, jargon, and all that type of business. Because if you think I sound as if I'm from Winterfell on Game of Thrones, you'd be right. It's cold up north. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the vidIQ live stream, where every single week you submit your channels. And by doing that, you open yourself up to critique, criticism, motivation, and all the channel auditing advice that we can meaningfully give you and everybody joining us through the vidIQ Nation. And of course, I could not do this without a trusty co-host every single week. And we alternate every single week. I am hosting, and this week, the man with a plan who calls himself Dan is hosting. Hey up, Dan. How's it going?
How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. Oh, yeah, that is not a Yorkshire term, oi. That is definitely not a Yorkshire term. I'll try educate you on a few later on. But in the meantime, we're going to say how's upsy to our next host. He is definitely not from Yorkshire, but he is the coolest man in the channel auditing world. He goes by the name of Jeff, and here he is.
Roy. Hello, Governor.
That is, again, not a Yorkshire term, but I applaud your efforts today. So, yeah, if there is anybody who is a native Yorkshireman, do let us know in the chat, or wherever you are from today. I would love to help you out with some Yorkshireism. So, Dan, let's start with you. We've got a couple here. Oh. Why don't we try this one right up here?
As I said, oi.
A.
Same thing.
Say it in a sentence.
Okay, wait. Hey, I'll be at the meeting.
Great. Okay, let's have this one, Jeff.
Don't worry about your expenses claim. It'll be right.
Nearly. It would be, don't worry about your expenses claim. It'll be right. So you gotta get the Yorkshireisms into there. We'll have one more. What's this one, Dan?
Bob into the gaffer when you're ready.
Oh my goodness. You're now just not taking this seriously, and I'm truly offended.
What did you expect? What did you want to happen?
All right, we'll do one more, right? And this is right. What about this one? This is going to be very appropriate to you, Jeff, because I know you love your automobiles.
I dinged my door in the car park, getting out earlier. Gutted.
Well, this is going to be fun throughout the entire live stream, isn't it? What usually happens when we're not doing this all sort of nonsense stuff is that we audit your channels. And if you are brand new here, do let us know in the chat by an A up. And if you are an original gangster here, say something along the lines of, I've been here for years and years. It's now but dull. Anyway, I'm going to play a video to show you how this live stream works. And we'll try and restore a bit of order and sensibility to this live stream. Welcome to the vidIQ channel reviews live stream. Simply fill in the correct form in the video description and your channel will be considered for review during the live stream. Channel reviews are free, so no need to send us a super chat, and don't spam us in the live chat. We'll ignore it and you may be put in timeout. If you need a channel audit right now, make sure to check out the vidIQ Coach AI tool that will help you with strategies, ideas, titles, scripts. Link in the description. It's a game changer. If you submit your channel for review, expect the following. We are sharing nothing more than our knowledge, experience and passion as fellow creators. Thank you to all of our moderators who help us out on the live stream every week. You know who you are. Give us a like if you enjoy this live stream, subscribe if you love it, and share it with like-minded fellow creators. All right, let's get started. And final bits of housekeeping as per usual. We encourage super chats, but not for audits, for meaningful YouTube conversations. So if you do submit a super chat, bring in an awesome question that Jeff, Dan, and myself can discuss. We will be reading out some of them later on in the show. It's best to get them in earlier, so that we're not overwhelmed towards the back end of a live stream. And YouTube welcomes audiences and topics of all shapes and sizes, but this is a PG made for both kids and adults live stream. So if we think your content is somewhat inappropriate for a younger audience, then we may just say, unfortunately, we can't take a look at this channel and we'll move on. We apologize in advance. And we'll do one last Yorkshire bit of lingo. Dan, I'm going to give this one to you, the green highlighted one, please.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I thought it said fingers. It says figures. Oh, Blumenek, have you seen last month's figures? I should have said fingers. That would have been better.
Why? It's like, oh, Blumenek, have you seen the last month's figures?
I thought I always imagine it shouting. That's what you have to do.
Well, there you go. Right. So let's audit some channels now. And we're going to audit the first channel that was submitted on the forums when they went live yesterday. And they go by the name of Cheese Slope Productions. Congratulations, first of all, on surpassing 500 subscribers. That means you're at least one step closer to the YouTube Partner Program. And I'm going to let Jeff jump in with the first thoughts, thumbnails, channel focus, titles. We've done many Lego stop motion animation channels before. Is there anything you can see different here?
Well, I like that they're taking like their thumbnail style, just kind of giving this a glance, that they're trying to get up close and personal with it. The only downside I've seen to a couple of them is like this latest one from 2 weeks ago, where it's tough to separate the background from the foreground, like the stuff that's actually in the foreground, but then using the white text without a drop shadow, it makes it kind of blend a little bit in certain spots because it's not like a clean backdrop. So they might want to consider, if they're going to use text, use a bit of a drop shadow on it. If you also look at the one below it, same thing happens there with the white text, where it sort of blends, where it says Cheese Slope Production, sort of blends in a little bit. And then also the figure itself, I don't know if they need to put an outline around it or whatnot to kind of help it pop a little bit. But that's the only downside, because some of them get a little cluttered because of the backgrounds being so colorful. But aside from that, I mean, I don't really see an issue. The other thing I was going to mention was they do use Lego stop motion in every single title for the most part, almost every single title.
Correct. Yep.
But if this is what the point of it is, and I guess this is the standard for this niche, then maybe it works. It just throws me off a little bit, but if it's working, it's working. It's hard to argue with results here, and they are doing quite well.
The thumbnails are a bit of a giveaway that it is probably stop Lego animation, isn't it?
So for sure.
I do follow you there. I know also one of your pet peeves, Jeff, tends to be when you put anything that's over the timestamp. Probably not too much of a big deal on this trailer one, but if there were any more, we quickly see them. But yeah, again, as you say, the text is just falling into the background on some of these because the backgrounds are so colorful and there's so many colors being used. There's no dominant colors sometimes in some of these thumbnails, and it's difficult to pick them out. If we were to pick out maybe a highlight thumbnail, which is I'll ask all of you as well in the chat, of the thumbnails that you can see here, which is your favorite one? Which you think is the most striking? And I'll ask that one to you, Dan. What if you were going to pick a thumbnail and say, that's a template, let's work on that one a bit more, which one would it be?
Scroll down just a little bit. I thought I saw something that I liked. Let's see. Oh, no, maybe it wasn't this far down. Sorry. I saw it and then I lost it. All of them, it's just the blur, like the foreground character always blurs kind of into the background. So it's kind of hard. But I think the one that's standing out to me is the second there, like Lost in the Snow, only because there's one character on it. So this like it's the least busy of all the thumbnails.
Yep.
I don't want to be mean, but I wouldn't say that's like still a good example of what a thumbnail should look like. I do think it looks still like a still from the video and not like okay, why should I click this? Like I'm missing that compelling bit. But out of all the thumbnails, that is the least busy. So my eye keeps going to that one. And
then any additional thoughts? I didn't want to force you into answering a thumbnail questionnaire if you had anything else you'd observed.
There was a video. It was actually down there somewhere, but it had like over 3,000 views, and it was about go-karts. They've doubled down on it, but here we go. Go-kart race, Lego stop motion. It's in the middle. And I think this one did well for a couple of reasons. Now, normally we would say not to be so redundant with your titles, right? Lego stop motion. That should be kind of obvious. However, I think it helped here. Go-kart race, Lego stop motion. It's still a very simple title. And I think the simplicity of the title helped a lot. And then, of course, the thumbnail isn't too bad. I would say because of all the different go-karts and the colors, it does take a little bit to get your eyes to focus on it. But once you do see what it is, it's like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. The stop motion effects here, by the way, excellent.
On point.
Excellent work.
Superb.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the light. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They did so good. Like, they make incredible stop motion content. We've seen a lot of these channels, and this is, I don't know if you guys agree, like, this is incredible work. Look at that.
That's really cool,
Welding?
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. On stop motion welding. How do you even do that?
Exactly. Like, if this channel, like Jeff was saying, if you can nail your thumbnails, sorry, you are going to be very, very happy with your views, I believe. So thumbnails and titles are everything. You have the storytelling down. I didn't even have sound, and I knew exactly what was happening in that video from start to finish, which means I don't need to speak your language to understand the content. Super, super powerful. All we need to figure out is the titles and the thumbnails. So I like that when you include stop motion. I would say maybe Lego stop motion should be in more of your titles. It looks like lately you have been putting it, but the first part of that title matters too. It needs to be something that people can relate to. So everyone knows what a go-kart race is, but one of them is called roundabout. What about a roundabout? Like, we need a couple more words. We need a little bit more context. Or maybe it wasn't even called roundabout. It was called something. It was one word. So yeah, the police officer. Okay, like, police officer pulls over criminal. Like, give me a little bit more as to what's happening, and then Lego stop motion at the end of all of these. I think that would be a really powerful strategy.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Can I just check on my sound effects working?
They're not.
Hang on. Everything's broken. What about now? Did you hear that? Yeah, okay. First time I use of a Stream Deck on every single live stream, my entire computer just freezes for 3 seconds, and it's very, very annoying. But I think this is a cool channel. As you say, their video content is astonishing. To do stop motion of this quality, very, very good. It's just the packaging, isn't it? It's just the titles and thumbnails that need a little bit more work. And I sort of buy most popular, and I think these are the clearest thumbnails, where either the background isn't dominating with colors, or like the main characters, there's more focus on them. And so these are a good indicator of where the channel should be going with their thumbnails. Just quickly check shorts. Are they doing anything with shorts? They're experimenting a little bit, but certainly focusing more on long form content. And given how long it takes to do stop motion, we're seeing a video every 2 weeks. Is there opportunity here to repurpose some of this into short form content for some maybe simple, easy wins? That is our first channel of the week on what is Yorkshire channel audits. And we're now going to audit our first gaming channel that submitted this week on the forms. And they go by Van Ders U, and they have 812 subscribers. And when you look at the thumbnails, Dan, this is what you want to see, right? Mm-hmm. I know exactly what this video is about, even though I don't know much about the game itself. I assume that this is some sort of mod where that you're building Doctor Who's TARDIS in many different shapes and forms. Mm-hmm. Presumably for a Roblox mod, I'm going to say, at a complete
Gmod.
Is that Roblox, or is it? Am I completely wrong?
Gmod it's Gary's mod, and it's very, very old at this point. It's on Steam, and you can kind of do anything you want with it. You need some technical know-how, but you can like do stuff like this. I have not had too much experience with it myself, but I know enough to not be surprised at all that they're managing to like put portals and TARDISes into the content. And I think this is a really smart play, because anyone who knows what Gmod is and happens to be a fan of Doctor Who is probably going to click on these videos, which is really cool to see. I think their titles and thumbnails are really nice and simple as well. So like, I'll go over one that I like, but also offer an improvement. So in the second one, every new Doctor's TARDIS and Gmod. And so at the top, you can kind of see, I didn't see this at first, but it says 9th Doctor to 10th Doctor. Yeah, that's fine. And you should do it that way. I like the text and the arrow, but the background is too cluttered. This would have been a perfect thumbnail to have just a green grass floor and a blue sky, just so you
I
can
agree.
read the text, because the text is completely getting lost.
What I may also argue, Dan, as well, is that you maybe don't need the two middle police boxes. Just have the first and the last, or something like that. It's just getting a bit cluttered here. But by no means this is a bad thumbnail. It's like these are just trying to tweak it more for a instant visual recognition of the content.
Yeah, yeah. I would also say that if you haven't done so already, you should show people how to make these or download them, or whatever technical skill that you have.
Yeah.
I think a really good video for you would be a searchable video where people who are still playing this are just looking for tips and tricks on how to like put stuff in Gary's mod, whether it be just downloading something someone else made or making it yourself. People love to do stuff like that, and that could be a video that gets you views for a long time to come. But yeah, I like this as a niche. I think this is a pretty good place to be. Like, I would consider this a super niche, but I mean, you are taking two very, very popular things and putting them together. Sometimes people super niche into like popular thing with a layer of very unpopular thing, you know, that no one's heard of before. And then that's when you kind of get videos that flop. But I mean, channel that's only been around for less than a year, getting thousands of views already, about to hit 1,000 subscribers. All of this is really good. I would just continue to upload, continue iterating, and try new things. Try if there's any challenge style videos you can do with Gary's mod. I would start exploring and brainstorming what kinds of things you can do that would be like, because like a really popular type of video in gaming right now, certain games do this well. 100 days in like Minecraft, for example. There's a lot of 100 days in Minecraft style. Is there anything you can do like that where you have that before and after, like, you know, before you did the thing and then all the way to the 100th day where you finish the thing? Like the long form videos that showcase those types of struggles do very, very well. I don't know if Gary's mod would be the right call for that, but I would be brainstorming new types of content.
Now then, a question I want to ask all of you, and I'm also kind of directing this towards Jeff. So start giving some answers in the chat. Doctor Who, science fiction, British science fiction, very popular. Is there a shelf life for this content? How does this creator maybe start to cross platforms, cross topics? What could they also bring into this channel and maybe do comparisons off? So, Jeff, I know you're a science fiction fan. Where else where do you think there's some like Venn diagram cross interest that they could maybe do along with Doctor Who?
Now, the thing that I'm a little lost on is how we would tie this into more into the popularity of Doctor Who outside of Gmod, because I think they're very, very heavily tied into that. I don't know if anything. The one thing I would be trying to aim for would be any changes or any updates around the seasonality of the show, like if there's a new season coming up, anything like that, because I think they could see a spike in views during that time, and staying on top of it during those times, and then obviously a lull when in between seasons. But as far as trying to get more crossover, I'm a little unsure on that. I'm a little unsure on how else we could do this, because we're still niched into the Gmod thing. So unless we were going to go outside of that, I'm a little unsure.
So I've seen some suggestions for Torchwood. I think that's a very big crossover.
Oh, that's true. That is you can
TV
definitely
series.
pivot that side too. Yeah.
But like, could you not maybe like do a comparison of the size of different spaceships? Like the TARDIS is a fairly small phone box, and you compare that to like a X-wing, and then the USS Enterprise, and then an Imperial Star Destroyer. You know, like on those fact videos where it shows you the incremental size of something. Like they'll go from the smallest skyscrapers to the very biggest, or like the highest earning celebrities, and it just stacks up one after another. I don't know if there's some sort of opportunity there, and I know, Dan, you are going to chime in as well.
I think that's an opportunity for sure. What I'd be more worried about, and this might already be coming to a head, is the shelf life of Gary's mod itself, because Gary's mod was once a Goliath, and now it's kind of niche. But that's just like my perspective. Obviously, there is people still playing Gary's mod. So, I mean, look at that. Like, you still have recycled videos.
Yeah, still recycling videos over the last day or two.
Yeah. So the other end of this would be, because I know Minecraft has multiple TARDIS mods, in it. and people mod the crap out of Minecraft. So that could be another direction. Maybe you've already thought of that, but if the Doctor Who angle is where this channel wants to stay and they don't want to venture into other sci-fi, then the alternative would be to venture into other games that include ways to like mess around with Doctor Who stuff.
Agreed. It depends on which is the linchpin. Which is the more important linchpin? Is it going to be Doctor Who or is it going to be Gmod? And that's where your ability to create other content is going to come from. If you keep it with Doctor Who, you have so many different options. Same thing goes for Gary's mod, but you have to also think about who the fans are, right? Who your viewers are, because right now we're looking for that Venn diagram of both Gmod and Doctor Who, but Doctor Who is obviously the far more popular topic here than Gary's mod. Just being real.
Lovely stuff, gentlemen. And that brings us to Rob Wilson's self-indulgent corner of the live stream, which, to be honest, is the entire live stream. But this part of a live stream is where you have to guess a famous gaming sound effect from my history of video gaming and also tell us what you've been playing over the last week. So, folks, where does this sound come from? I think that's a relatively simple one for you all to get, but I'll just play it one more time. Let us know in the comments. Jeff, have you been playing any video games recently? What joysticks are you waggling?
Well, that's a little personal there,
question,
Rob. But the game that I've actually been playing again is I restarted Cyberpunk 2077 just for fun.
Is that good? Is it actually good? I don't know. I heard it was bugged
like
to
open
hell.
world games like that. So
yeah.
I'm into it. I'm once I figured out all the systems and upgrading weapons and doing all that stuff, it's actually a bit more fun for me doing that. I'm just roaming around doing the side missions. And then aside from that, still doing a little bit of
Oh yes. What a game. Yep. I tried Witcher 3 and I didn't get on with it, and I just assumed that Cyberpunk's going to be another version of that. Not that I didn't hate it, I just played it for a few hours and it just wasn't for me. Dan, same as always, Diablo?
Yeah, still playing Diablo.
Yeah.
I'm a boring person.
I'm boring as well. I'm still going through the God of War. It's not the original, but it's the first God of War in the new generation of God of War. Oh my goodness, what a game. What a game. Did anyone get the sound? Did anyone get the sound?
Plenty of people got the sound.
Plenty of good people. It is Sonic collecting the coins. You are absolutely right.
And fun fact,
rings.
The Sonic soundtrack has to be one of the dopest soundtracks you've ever heard. And I'm really happy to see that it's going viral amongst the kids. The actual like Sonic the Hedgehog, the first game on Sega Genesis, the soundtrack to that game has been going viral on social media. So I love to see it in 2023. It warms my heart.
And I'm just going through the chat, seeing what everybody else is playing. Roblox, Mario, Sonic, Baldur's Gate 3. Wow, that's...
Well, we have a connoisseur in the building.
That's out of nowhere. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying that. And anything else of interest? No Limits 2, LM. I don't know what game that is, but you enjoy that. Mario Kart Wii. And Tish, our incredible moderator, and Max, admin superstar, is playing a BioShock right now. Now, that is a fun and terrifying game. But let's get back to some Yorkshire sayings. Yeah, that's what everybody wants to do. Dan, I'm going to give you this one. No, not that one. You've already done that one. Which is the one I've spotted one that I wanted to do because I thought it was really funny, and now I've missed it. Just give me a second. This isn't very good for the live stream, is it? No, I haven't seen it.
Bruh.
Yeah, I know. Oh, let's do this one.
My name's in that one.
I know. That's why.
So maybe someone else should do it.
Jeff, go on then.
Mind how you go, Dan. It's dark out there.
So bad. That's so annoying. I had one all lined up and now I can't find it. Yeah. I'll have to find it later. Right, let's audit a channel. We're going to do DC Racing. And Dan, I think this was one you picked from the list. Tell us why and what are we looking at?
Yeah, I got really excited. So this was actually on the non-gaming form, but it was a racing sim. And I'm like, that's kind of close to gaming. When I saw what the focus of the videos, was, I could see this go on either form really, because it's going to relate mostly to a gaming audience, but they're really focused on the tech behind these like simulators. Couple things there. So like, it's difficult for me to say what niche they're focused on, and then I wonder if their overall like scope for this channel, like maybe the ceiling on this is rather low because these setups are expensive. That being said, their first video got 34,000 views, and they're reviewing a particular product, and obviously that's resonating with the audience that would be interested in this content. And from there, I mean, that was a great kickoff to the channel because only their latest video has under 1,000 views. Everything else has 2,000, 4,000. One of them has 21,000 views.
Yep.
So even maybe my assumption here might be that even if people can't afford these rigs, it's kind of like something like a goal for them to eventually get one. So they watch these videos. They're trying to do the research now. They're just kind of like interested. So I was really like blown away by this person's like niche and how many videos they've managed to put out on this particular type of content where you have multiple steering wheels, multiple rigs. Like, how are they buying these things? Do they have friends with these things? Like, how are they getting so much of this stuff? Is it just that they go on like the product page and really break down things so they don't actually buy anything at all? I don't know, but I think this is super, super fun, super cool. And really interesting space to be in. I imagine the opportunities for monetization in the future will be also really awesome, like different affiliate links you can have, and for monitors and the steering wheels themselves and all that stuff, gaming chairs or racing chairs, I should say. Now, those are like the positives. The big thing I noticed right away is that the thumbnails could be a lot better. They try and put too much in the background. I think the foregrounds are all pretty good. It's just they cut the thing out. They make it look good. You can see what the heck it is. But then the background, like the latest one, especially with all the money in the back, like it's so busy. There's so many like pixels there. When you shrink that down to a thumbnail size, it makes it difficult for your eye to focus on what the heck is going on. And we're talking about people who are scrolling, right? They're just scrolling through YouTube. Maybe if they stopped and they really looked carefully, they would probably be able to see what's going on. But this video was from 8 days ago, has the lowest amount of views on the channel. And I have to imagine the thumbnail did not do it a lot of favors. And all I think they would need to do is just change the background. Just make it a little more flat. Because right now there's just too much going on. And I bet that one simple thumbnail change could help quite a bit. And then the only other thing I'm kind of curious about are the episode numbers. This doesn't really feel like an episodic kind of thing. And yet they're putting numbers like they have a series going. I think that would work if you were building a rig and like you were documenting the journey from like having nothing to eventually having this epic setup. But that doesn't look like what you're doing. And so it's kind of weird to have the episodic content, but I'm not watching it, so I don't really know. But those are just all of my thoughts just there all at once.
Thoughts from Jeff here, and I'm just going to play one of the videos in the background. I'll mute it because I'm curious about the editing style from the like the GIF teaser. It looks like they're put together really well. But Jeff, any extra thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in agreement with Dan as far as packaging goes. Is just they're really quite busy on some of them, and I think just eliminating some of the additional elements can help. That's because if you look at this thumbnail in particular, it's the words, the hands, and the steering wheel on a much more plain background, and it was obviously much more effective because it's less confusing, right? Sometimes we get in when we're just getting started as creators, we're thinking throw everything in the kitchen sink as soon as we learn a skill of how to create. Like as soon as we start learning the mechanics of how to make a thumbnail, we just start throwing all kinds of stuff, not realizing that actually doesn't help. It actually serves to confuse. We're trying to throw so much info into it that all you're doing is actually doing yourself a disservice. And the simpler that you can make it to understand, the better it's going to be for you, and the better it's going to perform, because people are going to look at it, understand it immediately, and then look at the title and then hopefully click in. So I think that's a major point there. But overall, I mean, just from what we're seeing, even though I can't hear, overall, I mean, the video quality looks pretty good.
Very intense editing. I'm curious just to put the sound up and listen to the voiceover.
The GTDD shares a lot of the same quirks as the TSLDD.
So it is an original voice. Can you hear this?
Is that a Yorkshire accent?
It is not a Yorkshire accent. No, it certainly isn't. Wow, like to caption the entire thing, I think is quite a brave and bold decision. What do you think? Burned in captions on a long form piece of video? Would you do that, or leave it for the captions themselves?
Personally, on a long form video, I'd leave it to the captions themselves because of auto translate. It would suck to like have somebody who doesn't speak English to want to auto translate, and then you have YouTube's captions fighting with the burned in captions.
Good point.
So that's something where I would, probably not do that. But I guess it depends on where majority of your viewers are coming from. But that's just me. That's just how I roll.
But yeah, Dan, really interesting channel, isn't it? Like we talk about how gaming channels in particular can find their own little corner, their niche. And this is like expensive, hardcore driving setups. And as you say, I'm curious to know how many people are interested in watching this content because they're making a purchasing decision, or they're just interested in the experience of driving, of somebody using this tech that they would never buy themselves, but they just want to know how it works when you're using it for a driving game. But really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it also shows here as well, we saw the editing that they were putting into it. They take a long time to make their videos. They've been on YouTube for 6 months, and for a gaming channel to have only done 7 videos in 6 months, probably a less quantity than usual. But Dan, I don't know if you can believe this, but I'm not going to encourage this creator to try and make more videos because it's a gaming channel. I think the audience appreciate the time and expense that's going into these videos. And if they were to do more content regularly, then they would probably do it through shorts where they could maybe repurpose a little bit. Because, I think there's an opportunity here. It looks like we're just showing gaming footage, whereas I think they could try and turn these reviews of the steering wheels and stuff into short clips. That might be a possible avenue for more content if they're looking to have more shots at the audience on a regular basis. And we'll bring to a conclusion. Oh,
I'm sorry, I was talking, but I was muted. But for the short strategy for them, I would love to see a split screen. Like, so the line in the middle of the screen, them driving down here, and then the game up there. Like, that would be, for this channel, it'd make a lot of sense.
And it doesn't look as if they're doing that right now. They're using the kind of talking head, computer graphics, more talking head. That's cool. Whatever that was quite funny.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, if you're doing shorts, as you say, the split screen using the equipment whilst showing you what's going on screen as well. Very nice stuff there from DC Racing. We'll move on to the next channel now. That is called Scream Geek. They have 111 subscribers. And this channel is an interesting one to me for 2 reasons. First of all, they had an interesting thumbnail style, which I think, thankfully, they've put in the past with it being red text. Oh my God! On a red background thumbnail. We probably wouldn't recommend that, but they seem to be putting that in the past. What's interesting here is that they're covering a movie franchise which has a strong cult following. And there was a recent release, I think Scream 6, came out recently. But does it have enough legs to build a community around this type of content? And kind of an open question here. Let's maybe talk about this first before we go into the details of a channel. What do you think, Jeff? Like, we know a lot of channels, when they're doing movie reviews, just tend to review all the movies they're watching, which we advise against. Niche down, find something that's like a real favorite of theirs that can talk passionately about. This is certainly an opportunity, but I don't know. Scream, I'm not convinced by as something that's going to have a long-term future for the creator and a channel, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I was really surprised at the fact that the series has gone to 6. And now their latest video is Scream 7 Theories. So, they're talking about that. So unless there's really a lot of like fan lore built into this. Now I don't know. I'm ignorant of this. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan. I've seen the movies, but I'm not a big fan of like to that level where I'm looking at lore around it. But if there is a ton of lore, then maybe they can give them an option of how to sort of branch out with their content. But this is there enough in the Scream universe to wrap a whole channel around? And that's really the question. And if there isn't, this could turn into being either more of a genre type of channel where you're
Right.
not just into Scream, but other movies like Scream, other series like Scream.
Yes.
That a person who likes Scream, because a person who likes the movie Scream is also going to like other movies in a similar genre, right?
Mm.
Maybe slasher flicks or things like that. So if that's the case, then that can open you up to more opportunities. But like I said, I'm not sure if there's enough lore here to actually wrap an entire channel around.
What do you think, Dan?
That's going to be the big concern, but I do think maybe they can get some popularity by starting here. A lot of channels do this where they start with one little thing and then they kind of expand over time. That could work. And this is good because I think they could still use a lot of practice, especially as it pertains to thumbnails and titles. Like just the pitch of their videos could use a bit of work. And so I would love to see them kind of like do this for a while, and focusing on just Scream is a good way to like get all of the YouTube elements kind of figured out. So
I agree. Yeah.
Right.
Hone your skills. Definitely. Yeah.
you have your topic that you love. You don't have to think about that. Like it's so easy for you to talk about this because you just love it. So that part is really hard for some creators. You've got that figured out.
Carry on. I just want to play.
Yeah.
Something
So I was just gonna say, like, even the thumbnails that aren't red on red need a little bit of work. Like, you're using too many elements in your thumbnails. This one right here, for example, you have you holding a mask, and then you have two masks that you almost can't see beside you, and then the background is also a really dark mask. And so you've put like way too many things in that thumbnail, and it's just you don't have that clear picture. Like, look, like the Amazon product page is a great example of what I'm talking about. That was just a Scream mask on a white background, like because they need people who are on Amazon to know exactly what they're buying and not get confused. And when I look at your thumbnails, I don't know exactly what I'm getting when I click on the video. There's just too many layered elements on there.
What I like about this creator is just their enthusiasm and passion. Like you can tell right now they haven't got all of the equipment they need. Like it looks as if they're using a version of InShot which they can't afford maybe to get rid of a watermark. You know, they're just in a room. The lighting's not fantastic, but you know they're trying all of these editing elements and skills. It's almost like that rough and ready approach. And the editing style is super quick and fast paced. I really like that. So kudos to the creator for just getting stuck in, jumping in there and having fun with their content.
That's the hardest thing to cross, and this is what we have to give them kudos, especially everybody, not just this creator, everybody in the chat who's actually made that jump, that leap of getting yourself out there is that's probably the biggest step. I know it was for me personally. So but getting out there and doing it and just learning, and that just takes time. But I agree. I think some work on their packaging is going to go a long way here for sure. Research is something that I didn't learn about until far later than I should have, but researching what topics, what titles, what thumbnails look like, successful stuff in my niche and outside my niche, is probably one of the biggest game changers that I had early on as a creator that helped me have some success on my own personal channel. And the sooner you learn kind of the simplicity of what makes a really good thumbnail, you can really start helping yourself grow a lot better.
Now, CZ's world is close to my heart because this creator was the very first person I interviewed for vidIQ. And back then, I think they were around about under 100,000 subscribers, but they had these breakout videos where what they would do is they would take a horror movie and they would do something big and epic, which was like all the trivia they knew about the film. And so you see things like 32 things you missed about a certain film. I'm sure the most popular ones will be like a version of that, like 30 things you missed in Caroline. I don't even know what that is, but like super popular, 2.8 million. This channel in the horror genre has really dominated. I'm wondering if maybe this creator wants to experiment one of his big projects, where they take Scream 6, for example, and rewatch it. Like, you probably know all of the trivia about this film. You can probably get more for IMDb and whatnot, and put together like the biggest breakdown, which has a lot of search potential for it. And that could be the one that brings in a huge audience. And then you can start to work with that community, that tribe, with Scream. So I hope you found that feedback useful. Any more thoughts, gentlemen, or shall we move on?
I just want to ask everybody who's watching, if you were watching that particular channel we were just looking at, like, was there one thing that we were just looking at that kind of like you took away from that? You know, let us know. Like, let us know if there's something that channel was doing, wasn't doing, that we were talking about that stood out to you. Because part of this experience is the fact that maybe your channel doesn't get reviewed, but you still hopefully learn a bunch.
You know what that is, Dan? It's kind of like peer-to-peer learning, isn't it? It's as if we're all part of a group and a community.
Yeah.
And you can have discussions.
There was like a thing that you could like join.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Just imagine if like it wasn't for 2 hours a week, you could do it 24/7 and not only talk to all of these people, but you could also talk to vidIQ coaches like Jeff and Alexi and Travis. Where could one do such a thing? Take it away.
Well, it's a little something that we call vidIQ Max. So that's what it's referring to. And that is vidIQ's group coaching, community coaching program that we're offering. And beautiful part about this is you have access to myself, Travis, and Alexi and Tish. And not only us, but we have some amazing community members in our private vidIQ Max Discord. And we've got people there that are pretty much there around the clock because we have people all over the world. So there are people kind of chit-chatting in there all around the clock. But you can ask questions. We can get feedback on titles, thumbnails. Basically, we're creating a community where YouTube doesn't have to be a lonely place, right? Where for the most part, a lot of us don't have people in our lives to bounce ideas off of, right? Most people just work normal 9-to-5 jobs. So you're a YouTuber. Now, who do you talk to about this stuff? You don't have anybody to talk to. Well, now you have us, right? And that's the beauty of that. But not only that, we also have upwards of 50 sessions with different industry experts on different YouTube topics, whether it's employees from YouTube talking about the YouTube algorithms. We have Justin Moore talking about how to craft brand sponsorship deals. We've had a session with Ian Corzine about copyright and how to avoid it. So we have so many different ways, like how to make money outside of YouTube AdSense, so many different things that you can learn. It's an amazing program. It's very, very near and dear to my heart, as well as Alexi, Tish, and Travis. We care a ton about the program. So for anybody who's interested, obviously it's something that you can be a part of, but it's priced accordingly and it's not for everyone. We totally get that. But for everybody who is a part of it, we really do appreciate every single one of you. I can't say it enough. I love my vidIQ Max community.
But for you, lovely members of the vidIQ Nation who are watching this live stream, we have got a special promo code, which will just lower that cost a little bit for you. 30% off. If you're a brand new customer of vidIQ and you want to get 30% off your first month of vidIQ Max, the promo code is there. Make sure to add that at the checkout when and if you decide to make a purchase for vidIQ Max. And they are sponsoring our Super Chats this week. So this is where we bring up new members to the vidIQ Nation and Super Chats. And whenever we have a new member, then we play them a sound effect. And since Jeff is here, we have plenty of sound effects to play with. So Jeff, take it away for Old Man Gibb. Hey. Oh yeah, let's talk. Make sure we don't get copyright claims for that. Old Man Gibb.
Ian Corzine, make sure you don't get copyright claimed.
I thought you were already a member, Old Man Gibb, but you're a member again. Welcome back. Dan, do we have new things yet? Yeah.
Oh, they're in.
Right.
People have been using them. We got new emotes. As
yes. Please do use these emotes.
Yes.
Like that one. We have the emote, and Jeff's got his own emote now. So please do share them in the chat if you are a member, because we've got another one here, Jeff.
Stop the cap.
All right. I don't really know what that was, but brilliant. Next question.
Yes.
No, that's not the wrong sound effect. Okay, we got a question now from Old Man Gib. El Jefe, congrats on 100,000, brother. I'm really happy for you. Thanks a million for all of the kind help and encouragement. Oh, hello. What's this? Oh, sorry, Dan. What's this? Oh, yeah.
No, do that. Ooh.
Nice.
Well, that's weird, man. That's oddly disconcerting. But thank you, Old Man Gib. I
Try to
appreciate you.
use
I
this-
actually got my silver play button here, but I'm not unboxing it here. I'm going to be unboxing it with my own viewers and my community and my members. But yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Congratulations, Jeff. Well done to you, sir. 1 million coming up next year. Reckon?
Easily.
Easily. All right. We got a new member. Minotaur Truck RC. Yeah, hot damn. Okay, we also have a super sticky from EQCTV with 24 of whatever that currency is. I will say thank you for that. And the next question comes from Second Chair Music. Will linking outside YouTube hurt community post impressions? Ooh.
I've seen no evidence of this, and I always link outside of YouTube.
Jeff is giving you permission and license to link out of YouTube as much as you want.
Yeah. And I did it just recently and got 1,000+ clicks on an affiliate link that I posted in my community. All I did was post a picture and mention this new product that was launching, and I put an affiliate link, and the post is doing great. And obviously, the people are clicking on it and going off site. It's not an issue.
It is a good question, though, isn't it? Because
it is. That's an excellent question.
An external link, just when you're in the YouTube app, does that end a session, or do sessions only count when you're physically watching something on YouTube? But yeah, I would also say, like, especially if you're like trying to get people off of YouTube onto a mailing list, or you're selling a product, ultimately you're doing something to sustain yourself financially on YouTube. The benefits far exceed the potential impacts you might get. Because what's being impacted here? A video is not being impacted by them clicking on a link. But yeah, that'd be an interesting one to ask Rene after he's fixed custom thumbnails for YouTube Shorts.
For sure.
Next one. Hang on. We've done that one. Oh, sorry. New member. Another new member. Suter Plays. Just gets an alert warning there. And another new member. Infamous Styles 301. Really, Jeff, bringing the tone down of a live stream.
Wow.
Foul. Purely foul. Putrid. What's around us? 5 some things. Just filled out the form for review. Well, we hope that maybe you are selected later on. Next one comes from Beanman. Spontaneously combusting apple pie. I agree 97%. I want to give myself a bit of an exit there just in case that is not necessarily true. We've also got a super chat from Mr. Coconut GT. Does that mean you drive around in coconuts?
That's interesting.
I
Maybe the wheel?
wonder. I do wonder.
Yeah.
I'm wondering no longer. Home Rapid Repair with a $9.99 super chat. 2,400 subs, 3,000 watch hours on my newer channel. Can you explain the difference in YPP, this and 4,000 hours? Who wants to answer this?
It's almost we have this entire video that's dedicated to this whole topic on the channel.
Several.
But it's more about fan funding. But I'll let you guys go ahead and jump on this one.
It's AdSense, yeah. Like, so you're not going to get AdSense until you get that 4,000 hours. But if you get the 500 subscribers, 3,000 hours, you can apply for the whole program, and then you won't have to reapply once you get the other requirements. But you have unlocked fan funding, which is kind of what you're seeing here. Super chats, like we're getting. I think memberships are included in that. I think merch as well.
Yeah.
So most of anything that involves your audience paying you directly, you should have access to now. But you will not have your videos monetized through AdSense yet.
But they are close. They're really close there.
But here's
so
the
it shouldn't
fun part.
be too long.
The fun part that I need to explain to so many people because they kind of don't get it is that if you have a strong community, you're bound to make far more money through fan funding than you will through AdSense at the beginning. Just making that very clear, because to make, like, right now, it's still, if I wasn't getting 500,000 views a month, fan funding would outpace my AdSense. So yeah.
All right, so we have one more, I think, super chats here for now. That comes from Journo Mode. What is your advice to someone who wants to start doing videos to camera? I'm just recording my first video to camera and keen to get some advice. All right, let's have one piece of advice from all of us, starting with Dan.
Just record and let yourself screw up over and over again. Fix it in post.
Brilliant. Next advice comes from Jeff.
If you're not fully scripting a video, at the very least having some notes that you can tape right under your camera so you don't have to look down at them, so they can be like at eye level. Just have some bullet point notes so that way you can keep yourself on track and you don't talk in circles.
And my advice is, I was just looking around for a lens. I don't have one to hand, but you can cut out like a bright color, so like luminous pink, green, yellow, or whatever, and just put that dot like fractionally above the lens and talk to that dot as opposed to the lens. I know that sounds weird, but it feels a lot less intimidating than trying to talk to a piece of glass. Some people even put faces of people they're familiar with, like in just behind the camera or like just outside of lens. So they're still looking at the lens, but they're it's out of, it's, you know, it's look weird, like you're just looking off over there or over there. And yeah, I think Dan, probably yours was the best piece of advice. Just start. Don't be afraid to screw up, because you can fix everything in post. It isn't a live stream. All right, we'll come back to some more super chats later on. And do let us know, by the way, if you do join us in vidIQ Max. This super chat session was sponsored by vidIQ Max. The Max promo code is still going to be valid throughout this live stream, but we'll get back to some more super chats later on. And now it just means I have to press a couple of buttons, and it brings us back to the next channel that we're going to audit, which is one of the Twitter competition winners that we run not every week, but many weeks. So do make sure to join us on other socials, including Discord and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. What Viper does are thumbnail competitions, and the thumbnails that get the most likes get a channel audit. And we have a tie this week, so we're going to be auditing 2 channels, and the first is Michael Marie Gameplays. I apologize if I mispronounced your channel name. They have 200 plus subscribers, and just looking at the thumbnails very quickly, I think it is a female gamer who's maybe focusing on horror content. That's the vibe and impression I'm getting. Dan, what are your thoughts?
So that was my impression as well, until I saw the latest video, which was Plate Up. Now, I love Plate Up. Incredible game. But a big problem with the thumbnail, and this kind of can be advice applied to a lot of their thumbnails, is that I'm not seeing the game represented enough in the thumbnail. And so a fan of Plate Up like myself doesn't immediately recognize what I'm looking at. So Rob, if you were to just type in Plate Up into search, we would see right away what the thumbnails for this typically look like. And they're pretty simple, because the game is kind of hard to take a picture of for a thumbnail. So a lot of them are just like this top down, you know, sometimes blurred out with the logo. If you put your reaction there, like the third one, we see someone's reaction, but then again, the game itself with like a lot going on. These are all great because they represent what someone would think about when they think Plate Up. You know, like it is just straight up gameplay. And the thumbnail we were looking at on the channel has like their avatars,
VTuber,
real pizzas, not Plate Up looking pizzas. And the only identifying factor was the logo itself.
Yeah.
So I know I'm picking on that one quite a bit, and I haven't even gotten into the fact that it kind of doesn't fit this channel in itself. It's just recognizable elements are super, super important in the gaming space. Now, I'd say the thumbnail just before that it looks more like a video game, you know, having your reaction, having the character from the game. The pink background, like that slant there, that's taking me out of it a little bit. It does make it harder to identify this as a gaming channel. Rob, it sounded like you were kind of trying to figure that out for yourself when you first got here. Like, I think it's a gaming channel. Like, that's because the thumbnails just don't feel like gaming thumbnails. But let's also keep audience in mind. So Played Up is like a casual couch co-op game where it's really zany and funny and colorful and bright, and no one gets hurt. In horror games,
What's up, everybody?
they're dark and terrifying, and usually people get kind of hurt a little bit. So two totally different audiences here. You know, games that are like intense horror games are going to appeal to a certain type of viewer. Couch co-op games that you play with your friends are going to appeal to a different type of viewer. And you really want to be thinking of that person every single upload. And I know that feels limiting because you would like to cater your content to everything that you personally enjoy. But unfortunately, in gaming and on YouTube in general, if you try to be, you know, that one gamer for everybody, you end up being that one gamer for nobody because you haven't built up an audience, you know, that knows exactly what they're going to get when they come back. You know, that you want to be known for something. Like, oh, I like watching this person because they are really good at this game, or they're really bad at this game, or whatever it might be. And you can develop that through line later on, you know, whereby maybe you play just horror games, so you don't have to limit yourself to one. You know, maybe you play a lot of different types of games, but the way you play them is different. Maybe you're always doing challenges. Maybe you're always breaking things, like Let's Game It Out. There's all kinds of ways you can approach gaming, but you have to have a consistent thing. And a lot of times when you first start out, one game is a good way to kind of start, and then you can kind of build over time slowly.
I was clicking through some of the videos there because what intrigued me here was the gap between video lengths. So I think on some of them, it feels like possible live streams from elsewhere that are being re-uploaded as long-form content. But then also these 10, 12-minute videos as well, which feel more like the traditional VOD. Do you think there's a problem with that from a viewer expectation point of view? Or, you know, should we be giving the creator some latitude here to experiment? And well, they've been on YouTube for a long time, 6 years. So they took a break and came back, I think, in the last... Yeah, so look at this, 6 years ago, and then all of a sudden, they've just started doing stuff on YouTube. This is all in the last month, so they've returned to YouTube for this.
I think there's like an expectation. So like I saw Diablo 4 Necromancer with like Me and the Boys or something. When you see just a general gameplay like that, you kind of expect it to be shorter and edited down. There are cases where gameplay videos could be an hour long, but usually when you see them, you understand immediately once you look at the title and thumbnail why that video is so long, because usually it's like a really big marathon style challenge. So when I see videos of that length, I worry that not a lot of editing is going into them. And because you're like a newer creator and stuff, it's that difficult to get someone to commit to that kind of video. So let's start smaller, honestly.
And finally, does it warm your heart that they are doing split screen shorts where like reaction at top, gameplay on the bottom?
Yep.
That's kind of what you would like to see for the viewer experience.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a really good place to be, just, you know, in terms of gaming and shorts. Like if you're going to do horror games, like you got to have that reaction, and split screen is great. Yeah, I don't think the hashtags are doing a whole lot for them.
Yeah.
I would just keep the title really simple. And keep the context. That's the other thing about shorts, especially with gaming. Keep the context. People just kind of scroll and find your short because YouTube's just going to give it to them. No one may have seen, whoever watches this, they haven't seen you before. They don't know what you're doing. So make sure it's really clear from the very first second that this is a video for anybody. You know, we've made a video that anyone can enjoy, whether or not they've seen your content before.
So some gaming bombs there from Dan. And the second entrant who tied for the thumbnails was Omega Luke. And so this is their channel. I believe it is another gaming channel, the home of Football Manager Rebuilds. I know what Football Manager is, previously called Championship Manager in a previous life when I played it a hell of a lot. I could do 10-hour sessions on that game. Since evolved into Football Manager. I don't know what rebuild means. Presumably they're just like rebuilding a squad or a team. But with 80,000 plus subscribers and view counts in the tens of thousands and videos being published several times a week, I think, Dan, this is going to be, we're going to struggle to say what can they improve, because this channel is just killing it. Absolutely
This is
killing it.
not, this is not a channel that I would sit here and pick apart. I would actually encourage other channels who are in this space to learn from this one. And we see a lot of channels like this, that cover this particular game. Like, look at how nice these thumbnails are. Like, just how you got the big reactions and just a couple elements in each one, and everything's really easy to see. They do a good job at teasing certain things. And look, you might look at these and go, these thumbnails are kind of all over the place. The style is like changing, but look at like how it changes per video. So for example, if we scroll back up, there's a list, like that middle thumbnail there, how one rule can destroy big Premier Leagues or league clubs. Like, they have this list and their reaction. Okay, so that's like one video, and then next to it is like them reacting to a tweet. Totally different look for the thumbnail, except the consistent thing is the creator reacting to it. So they don't always do the same exact template for every thumbnail. They change it depending on what it is they're doing in the video, what works in this space. Like, I'm going to talk about this particular topic. What kind of thumbnail should I do? And so each one has like a different approach, but still looks like it's from the same channel, which is really cool.
There's also some interesting foundational tactics that any creator can use here. One is connecting the known with the unknown. So anybody who's a football fan will understand the concept of the bottom of a table relegation. But all of these teams, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United, none of these teams should be where they are in this league. So like the known concept of a league versus the unknown concept of why are all these teams failing miserably in this particular game that they set up. And then they have all of these challenges or stakes. Like, I gave Marco van Basten a second chance career. And what they're doing in this is that they're taking a retired player and then they're regenerating them in the game and then following their new career. So like, just imagine if you had Dan Marino, that's the only person I can think of off the top of my head. What if he didn't play his entire career at the Miami Dolphins? And he went to several different franchises and he actually won a Super Bowl ring. They're kind of charting a new story for a famous person. And then they're this rebuild thing, which I think is like the staple of their channel. But then, like, I gave Ronaldo a second chance career. He's another very popular football player from the 90s and the 2000s. But yeah, the thumbnails are just fantastic. Essentially 3 or 4 elements, dominant colors. They've spent maybe an afternoon taking these headshots of their face and expressions, and they can just plug in whichever one they want. And we're saying all of these fantastic, wonderful things. What else do we suggest, Dan? I mean, the one thing I potentially could suggest they try is live streams, because they haven't got any on the channel. And this is a game where I'm not going to say there's waiting around, but you can probably multitask. You can probably control the game, like pick players, sell players, have a gaming progress, a football game progress, which allows you to then go to the chat and then answer questions, super chats, like get them involved. Like, who do you think I should sell this player? Or do you think I should buy this player? How much do you think I should offer them? You get your audience really involved in that. So I know it's a bit of a weak suggestion, given that the channel is dominating so well, but yes, live streams for me. Any thoughts from you? As I just go through the community tab.
Yeah, look at the community tab. Oh, they're using it very frequently.
Yeah, live streams could help, especially if they want to start kind of building up a community aspect and giving access to their hardcore subscribers. Because to me, I mean, there's got to be no way that they've built up 80K plus subs and not have some pretty hardcore returning viewers.
Yeah,
and,
tens of thousands of views per video as well.
Yeah, so like, to have people come up and hang, with them, whatever that might be, but that could be a good way to do it for sure. At least I know I would be, because once I started doing live streams, which was funny for me because I couldn't live stream for a while just because of technical limitations. I was actually unable to live stream until I was around 30 or 40,000 subs ish. But by then I had so many people that were already like a part of the community that when I started live streaming, I already started kind of on a leg up. But at 80K, I mean, it should be great. And even if you don't get a ton of people there the first time, building consistency around that as well, whether you stream 1 day per week, you do it at the same time, same day, every week, you'll start building regularity. People will start building habits around that live, and they'll start showing up for that stuff.
They've really tapped into lots of business opportunities. I see this advert all over the place, Manscaped, for all of the podcasts I listen to.
Good for them.
And they have also learned that they are fans of wrestling, but they're not sharing their wrestling content on this channel. They've got a wrestling channel dedicated, which they're building up as well with 15,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Which is
Well
nice.
played.
Very nice. But they haven't really done anything there for a while. I wonder if they've decided to go all in on their Football Manager channel there. But that's all very encouraging. And then they are doing shorts. Let me just check. Come on, internet. Catch up. Thank you. And they're doing shorts. Yeah, again, split screen down. They've decided to put themselves at the bottom. Yeah. Maybe because there's some like text and things that they need to make sure that the viewer can see at the top of the screen, because you've got the bottom section where there's going to be the title and YouTube UI.
A strategy to that. We saw one channel earlier that had themselves at the top, and now this channel has themselves at the bottom. I think it really is about what you want viewers to see like the most, because the top of the screen is a lot easier to look at than the bottom. And I say that because the bottom usually has a lot of stuff that YouTube puts there. And so I think your eyes naturally go to the middle and the top of the screen. So you want your viewers, in this case, focused on whatever it is you're talking about. But the horror channel made sense because they wanted their viewers focused on their reactions. So I would be thinking, like, I think there is a strategy to where you put yourself in a short and how big that face cam is. And I think they're doing it right. I think they're going to be talking about a lot of technical stuff, and they're at the bottom of the screen because really the focus is like what's going on at the top.
Absolutely fantastic channel. Well done to you, Omega Luke. All right, let's do a couple more here. Like,
I forgot about this.
Yeah. All right. So this is the one I wanted to do. Oh, I've lost it again. Why is this? Right, here we go. I want you to try this one, Dan.
Oh, you know what's funny is I always thought this word was a negative thing until I read this.
Okay.
Because so it means happy or pleased, which is interesting.
Yep.
I were well chuffed with the feedback.
Yeah, not bad actually. Not bad. I were well chuffed with feedback. You see, in Yorkshire, what you do is you remove the T from absolutely everything. So, like, I'm gonna have some fish and chips. Like,
no
you do well. That's not a good example. What? I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but like
I have the fish and chips.
Like,
try that one.
Top of town, and I'll. What is there a fish and chips one?
No. So just for you, just say
right, okay.
I have some of the fish and chips.
Fish and chips. Yeah. There's all sorts of Yorkshire stuff here. What about this one? Jeff, do this. Do you have any idea what this is?
Has anyone ordered the sarnies for the meeting?
It is a good one. Dan, try this.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait, this is too many. They chopped up the words too much.
Yeah.
Hey, sup up. We're off to the pub. I don't know.
We're off to next pub.
To next pub.
Off to next pub.
Yeah, that's they get punched in the guts when they.
No, it's. I don't know how to explain it, but like whenever there's a T, all you say is the T. Like top of. No, that's not a good example. I can't. I'm like, I'm really flummoxing myself here. I should probably get off Yorkshire chat. Yeah, thank you. You know what we should do? We should bring out Jeff's favorite item. If I can find the right video. Yeah. That's right, folks. It's time for Dem Claws. And what we do at this stage of a live stream is we have the forms that you've been filling out. 558 submissions in an on-gaming form and a whopping 463 submissions in the gaming form, which means that we take the top number and we say, all right, let's do 575. That will probably cover everybody who's submitting right now. We go into the balls and we pick out number 487. We put that number into the forms, and then we take this claw. There you go. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah, we're going to use claw, right? And we get that channel, and we copy this URL, and we have no idea what we're coming across here.
They also asked us to ask Rob about Lancashire lads.
Boo! We don't like Lancashire. It's just wet. Over to the side at Pennines. Ugh, it's just wet. Nothing but rain. But also, I should add that I hate Leeds, which may annoy some Yorkshire people. But
Oh my
Leeds
God.
are scum, and only Yorkshire people understand that. Where are we? We're talking about Sunny Technique, who have an incredible 240,000 subscribers with just 2 long-form videos with no views. So presumably, they must be doing shorts and getting lots of views from the shorts. Yes, here we go. 25 million views. Oh my goodness. So I think what I would be suggesting here, which is a very simple strategy, but all of my titles for shorts would start with most terrifying videos, fill in the blank. Because those videos have brought in 40 million views by themselves when it comes to shorts.
I mean, they also have to be terrifying videos.
True. Yeah, you can't just like talk about anything, but more of that, I would say. But maybe the question they want to know is, well, let's just check the form. They do call themselves a shorts channel, because I was wondering if they were figuring out, like, is this the classic YouTube conundrum whereby I can get 100 million views from my YouTube shorts, but when I put up a long form piece of content, I only get, 8,000 views.
Yeah,
What's
but you
the
also have
solution
to
there?
do more than 2 videos.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? Because you're sort of trained a lot of your viewers to really go after the short stuff, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of creators slowly turn that around. But when we're talking shorts, you're talking about anything from 15 to 60 seconds on YouTube. So if you're going to start making inroads into creating a long form audience for monetization purposes, obviously that's going to be far, far superior than what you're getting from shorts. Then I would not make the jump immediately to 10, 15, 20-minute videos. I would probably start at, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, to start things off, to start kind of getting videos onto the channel that are not shorts. Start off slow, try to keep them under 5 minutes so you can give somebody something that's a bit more digestible who's normally accustomed to shorts, and start proceeding in that direction. But it's going to take more than 2 videos. Any experiment on YouTube is going to take more than 2 videos. You can't just do 2 and be like, nope, I didn't get a million views on these, so I'm walking away. They can't be that way. You're going to have to put in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, really put in the work on that if you want to grow that, assuming that they do. Otherwise, stick to what you're doing.
Yeah. I would agree with that, Jeff. Key point is that let's not try and make 9 or 10-minute videos. Let's just make a 1 minute 30 video. Forces it to be a long form piece of content, but it's still very short, so that your audience is accustomed to that technique and delivery. And then maybe if you start to find some success, you can just push it like another 30 seconds and then another minute, and you can develop a long form strategy, as Jeff says, if you want to go down that route. Dan, I'll give you the final words and we'll then pick another channel.
I think I want to look at the latest shorts real quick. We looked at the popular ones. I just didn't see. Okay, so they are still doing like the terrifying angle.
Yeah, I did do a quick search. They are still going back to that. It's most terrifying, really. That's their keyword, 2 double keywords that they use in their titles. And every time I do that, the view counts traditionally seem to be more impressive than when they don't include that.
The way it's cascading for like lowest views to highest, I think literally these shorts just do well over time. So like the latest ones have the lowest amount of views, but they're just going to keep kind of snowballing. So this is a really good short strategy. If they do want to pivot to long form, I agree with what you guys said. Like start small, but you got to do quite a few videos. I think they could do, because it says creepy stories no one tells you. I think they could do a longer form story, kind of documentary style video, but that's going to take a lot of work, and you might need to be willing to take a lower view count than you're used to seeing, because you haven't really built up your long form audience yet. Shorts viewers are shorts viewers, and it's kind of hard to pull them over. So yeah, best of luck.
Let's pick another channel. Sorry, Jeff, did you have more to add there?
No, I'll say it's true. Even if, like, let's say the opposite can apply as well. You'll see a lot of channels who have very successful long form videos, but not huge views on shorts. It can apply. It can go both ways. Doesn't mean that they should stop creating shorts. You know what I mean? It's something that's just going to take more than a couple of tries at it. You have to really stick with it.
So just to show you what I'm doing here, folks, I picked 529, but gaming hasn't got up to that number yet, so I'm just picking the latest gaming channel from that form. Just for full disclosure on how we're auditing this one, that calls themselves Torchcraft. I'm instinctively drawn towards the cute channel arts. Looks cool. And then like they've gone for a branding I haven't necessarily seen on Minecraft before, which is kind of like a golden hue to their thumbnails. The thumbnails have a basic design, but I think they're effective. I'm guessing the language is possibly Dutch. So we're going to struggle a little bit here to understand the full context of the videos, Dan, but
Yeah.
a solid start, I think. How long have they been on YouTube? Few years.
Yeah. So I like the consistency in their style, their branding, and the fact that they are uploading, every few weeks or so, which is cool. I noticed immediately the server IP address in the banner and on their description or their about section. Now, what that is, for those who don't know, is you can literally go into Minecraft and type that in and join the server that they all share. And the one thing I want to encourage you to do, unless you disagree, like it just depends on what you're aiming for as a creator. I've done this, so I'm speaking from experience. Don't become a server host with a YouTube channel. I want you to be a YouTuber who happens to have a server. And the reason I say that is because server hosting, managing a server, is so much work. Making sure it's constantly like engaging for the people who play on it, making sure they're all behaving, because you just have the IP address, a public server. Anyone can just join that, right? So it's going to be a lot of moderating. I'm sure you have some tools to make it a little bit easier, but your whole YouTube channel becomes about this server and not about the thing that's going to grow the server, which is providing some kind of value to the Minecraft audience at large. Just the fact that you have a server isn't really it. What are you doing on the server? Have people done cool builds? Like you could do an entire series where you tour cool builds that are on the server, right? And then each video kind of is a way to promote the server, but you still provide that like extra value to a YouTube viewer who might not be interested in being on the server, but just likes good Minecraft content. So try to avoid being, again, a server host with a YouTube channel, because you're here asking us for advice. I assume you want to grow on YouTube. That will also grow your server as if you grow this channel. But I'm noticing the view counts are pretty consistent, like in the 1 to 200 range. That's not where I would want to be after that much time on YouTube. I would expect by now they want views in the thousands, tens of thousands. And it's because, in my opinion, there's not enough here for a regular old Minecrafter to grab onto. It's mostly just, stuff about servers, like my server.
Dan, you've just earned yourself a knowledge bomb award there. I don't think I can add any more to that piece of advice. Fantastic stuff. So we'll get straight back to the claw and pick out another channel, and that's going to be 272. And hang on. That can't be right. We just audited this channel.
Did it pick the same number?
No, it can't have done. That's suspicious. What number did we pick earlier on? 420. That was one of the 400s. That's a bit weird.
Did they submit twice?
Yeah. Did they submit twice? And look, this person, is this going to work, the URL? Let me check.
That should work.
Yeah.
As soon as you pulled that number, sir.
Yeah.
I just won't play the second part of that last ring.
Co-vacation. Do you love travel? Hashtag pack your bag and join us. I don't like the spacing. It makes it difficult to read. Just in a channel banner. Don't give your audience work to do with that type of stuff if you can. And is this a drone? It is a drone, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is a drone. Yeah.
Is the letter K shaped like a drone?
Ah, okay.
Or the drone is shaped like the letter K?
Yeah, I agree. I would also remove their name from the channel banner, and that way you can use big bold lettering to express your value proposition to your viewers. So if it's cinematic travel vlogs, pack your bag and join us, I'd find a way of saying those two lines in less than 5 words and having that as your value proposition. There's no need to have your channel name on the banner when your channel name is already on your channel right under it. It's just kind of like wasted space, in my personal opinion.
I think being specific is going to help this channel a lot.
So what do you mean by that, then?
Okay, so if you scroll just a little bit, the second row of videos there.
Yeah.
In the middle, experience 48 hours in the swankiest hotel in London, has 1,000 views. nice and specific. So we're in England, and you're not just in England walking around, you're at the swankiest hotel. Like, so you're actually like being specific about a place, and I can learn from this video. And if I ever go to England, maybe I want to stay at this hotel. Maybe I at least want to visit. But the latest videos, wandering at Ponder Yonder, Vermont. Wandering is like, so, oh, okay, I walked around Vermont. What like specific thing can we take away from this video? Maybe, and you could do all sorts of things with a channel like this. It looks like you went to England, now you're in Vermont. Cool. Like, give me a top 10 list of places to visit in Vermont. Top 10 things, top 10 awesome places you didn't know existed in Vermont. I don't know. Something like that. Like, and then when you do those videos where you're wandering around, like, what is there to see? And like, try and focus on that thing. I think being more specific, like, and I'm noticing that as you're scrolling, like the titles that are just a little more specific and show that like intrigue are doing a lot better than the ones where it's just like, we went to place. That's my advice.
Just looking at the most popular videos, which are mostly older videos. You know what's bugging me a little bit? It's this this icon. I don't know why it's grinding my gears.
It shouldn't be in the thumbnails.
But it suggests, are you going to be using drone shots in all of these? I don't think you are using... because you can't, you do that in London. I think you'd soon get arrested if you try that.
That's irrelevant though. That's irrelevant to this, because even if they are using drone shots on every single one, or if it's all drone, it still doesn't need to be in the thumbnail. So that's what's been bugging me about every single thumbnail. I'm like, what is throwing this off? And it's having a channel logo. So I hate to break everybody's heart in the chat who's doing channel logos in your thumbnails. Don't do it. It's just, you're just wasting space. It's really not necessary. So don't bother. If all it needs to be is whatever text or whatever you're putting into the thumbnail has to be relevant to what the actual video is. Your logo is not that. Right? Your logo is just not that. So let it be what it is. I know people spend money or spend time making them or buying them, but let them be what they are. Don't use them in your thumbnails. You just, don't. It's just not, it's just taking up space.
Do you think the branding's strong enough without that logo, in terms of, it's quite a unique way that they're applying just like a big England in the thumbnail, but they're kind of trying to blend it into a background. You know, it's behind the spire in that thumbnail, or behind their heads in this one, which is something I haven't seen that often with that.
I think it looks good for what it is. I would just avoid the red text, like the haunted quarry hike. That haunted is a bit tough on the eyes, but which is their latest video, I believe, from 2 days ago. That's the red text. You always have to be careful with that, but I get what they were trying to go with by putting that there in red, but it's just kind of not necessary. So,
and then just a final thought here is, because you talk about the experience of staying in a hotel for 40 hours, and you say it's the swankiest one in London, and then you're going to the Savoy afternoon tea. I think there's a certain level of prestige and expense attached to those things, and I'm wondering if you can maybe emphasize that a little bit more in the thumbnails and the titles, if that's the target audience that you're going for. My guess, I'm painting a picture here. I could be completely wrong, but just from the thumbnails that I see, I'm guessing you're a professional couple, be it married or unmarried, I don't know, that's not important, but you have a certain amount of income, and you're what's called maybe a dinky, like your dual income, no kids or no kids yet. So that means that you can afford more extravagant holidays and do more experiences. And I'm wondering if you can sell that concept a little bit more in your packaging. If I'm wrong, well, it means that you haven't clearly identified your target audience, which means that your thumbnails, titles, and the videos are not speaking to your ideal audience. So that might be a process to go through. Like, write down, if you were going to get the exact ideal viewer to watch your content, who are they and why are they watching? And that will help. But having said all of that, the channel's cracked 1,000 subscribers. The view counts are fairly healthy. As you rightly identified, Dan, I think when there's a specific concept that's being sold in the packaging, the videos tend to perform better. And they're not getting viral content either, which is, in this case, I think a good sign that they're slowly building up the audience over time. And then, do we have any final thoughts, or should we move on?
No, I think we're good.
Suggests that we move on. We'll do a gaming channel this time, 355. I think we'll have some super chats after that. So we are going to look at Eat Blocks, who've submitted their channel. But folks, we have just one video.
Welcome to YouTube.
4 subscribers.
I love that logo.
They joined on July the 28th. So this channel
Wow.
is 3 or 4 days old. Everybody in the chat, I want you to give this channel one piece of advice as they start their YouTube journey. And we will do the same. And you are going to be overwhelmed by advice and suggestions. So Dan, what's your one piece of advice for this channel?
Okay, one piece of real advice. Don't use red text in your thumbnails.
Damn, I was going to steal that one.
But also, this is just a preference. I love that logo so much. It should not be the full banner logo in your avatar. Just use the Pac-Man looking icon in your avatar.
That's two.
Well, I just don't think anyone's going to say that, and it's really important to me.
Stealing all of it.
I like the logo a lot. I like the name.
Jeff, if you had one piece of advice, what would it be?
Really take the time to figure out exactly who it is that you're making videos for. And when I say who it is, I don't mean people who like roadblocks. Like, that's not who I mean. I mean really dive deep into who this person is, what kind of roadblocks they like, how old are they, what kind of things are they into, what do they do, are they in school, are they watching your videos after school? Like, really dive deep into what they want to see from you, and then go after that person with every single video. Don't throw random videos. Target each video. What goes on this channel matters as you're starting out, so make sure that every single video is aimed at the same viewer.
I am just bringing up some of the suggestions that are coming up here, and a lot of them are just like, persevere, let's get on with this, keep going. Oh, and the person is saying my channel, wow. So my advice would kind of follow on with what Jeff just said, like an interesting title for this game. I think that's cool. Super League Soccer. I would make, for your next 5 to 10 videos, I would keep them on Super League Soccer with these tips and tricks, these search-based ones, see if any start getting hit in the search traffic, and then maybe do something which is more storytelling, like a challenge. Like, is there something special that you can do in this game that you're going to demonstrate to your viewers? And that might get you into more browse and suggested traffic. But yeah, that's your first video. We've had lots of suggestions and tips here that people are throwing in there. And so make sure to keep looking out on the chat as well for all of these wonderful advice that many of you can apply to your channels. But in the meantime, I think we have another sponsored segment of this live stream from vidIQ Max, which means that you can use a promo that gets you 30% off your first month as we answer some more super chats, and they look a little bit like this. We've got a King Ryshaw. Was that super chats? I'm not sure. Super sticky, but thank you very much for it. Tanks for Life has also a $1 super chat. Jeff, we're going to need you to pull out the sound effects for...
Wait a minute.
Nice. Sri Lakshmi Divya TV and Vlogs. I really put a lot of concerted thought into pronouncing that correctly. I hope I was somewhat accurate. We have a super chat here from Slankish. Any tips for audience retention? Mine is like 1%. Is it really 1%? That would be a feat in itself. I think if you got 1% audience retention, that would be like an anomaly of some
Sounds like a
description.
video idea. How I got the
It
worst
does.
retention on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a few things that would make me click off a video really, really fast. I've always said hearing a very obvious robot voice. I'm not into that. If your audio quality isn't good, if I clicked on the video and it's immediately clear that I'm not getting what I was promised in the title and thumbnail, like those few things for me would get me to instantly click off in the first 1% of the video.
Agreed. Tactus. What for?
I had to look that
abbreviation
up.
What is it?
everything on the internet's a taekwondo. I can't say it. The
Taekwondo.
Kicking. Yeah. They're in their avatar like kicking. So I'm assuming that's what they do.
Oh, you can say, is it in a Yorkshire accent, Dan? Go and do it.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. Yeah, that wasn't too bad actually. You want to try. Always Mad Gaming. Hi, I'm new to your channel, and how do I go about getting my channel reviewed by you guys? All right, first of all, stop shouting. Stop shouting. If you'd watched the beginning of this live stream, you just fill out the form, and some are pre-selected, others are randomly picked with the claw, as we've been doing for the last 30 minutes. Thank you for asking. Spookful. Editing takes ages. Yeah, tell us about it. Because I make movie content and I have to cut clips down to 3 seconds to avoid copyright. Do you think having just images is too boring? I've not heard anything around like 3 seconds is like the cutoff point for copyright footage. You can get it from like a second, right?
Yeah, like being transformative is probably what they're trying to do, right? Like you're going to get copyright if it looks like your content is just kind of ripping other people's content. But if you're transforming it in some meaningful way, you're less likely to have those issues. I would say what I would do if I were you, if you're not on camera already, try to like maybe get on camera, and then that's your A-roll. So that's just you talking to the camera. And then you use the 3 to 5 second clips from the movies as B-roll that goes over the A-roll. So you're talking, and then sometimes those clips come in over you, and they describe like they help to illustrate whatever point you're trying to make. That's like the easiest way, and I think that would make your editing speed up quite a bit.
Yeah, and images can work too.
Yeah,
people think it's too boring. It's not. If you add motion, but what you're saying is really what's going to carry it forward. But you can add motion to still shots because you can start punched in and slowly back out, or opposite. You can punch in on them. You can move them from side to side. So you can, if it's a really, especially if you have a high res image, you can zoom in on one corner and slowly move it across it to the other side. So you can add motion to still images if you want to avoid the copyright of using the actual video. But if you're talking over it while it's playing, you don't have to, obviously I'm not talking about playing the whole video uncut.
Sure.
But when you're talking over and you're just showing certain clips of it, I've seen plenty of channels do well with that because it is truly transformative content.
Astro Red with a relevant question about how we do the channel audit live stream. Do you have to apply to the form once per stream, or does it stay there forever when you do it once? No, what we do is at the end of every stream, we purge the list completely and we start all over again, which is why there is always a brand new first submission to the live stream every single week. So we don't often suggest this, but if you do subscribe and turn on the notification bells, you will be immediately informed when a live stream goes public, so you could be the first one to fill out the form. But yeah, we want to make sure that the people who are coming to the live streams have filled out the form recently, so there's a much more chance of them being in this live stream when we're auditing their channels, as we just saw with the channel that we just audited, whose name I've forgotten, but they were there. And Dan thought the channel name was funny. What was it?
Eat Blocks.
Yeah, them. Inside the Minds of Legends Celebrity Interviews. That's a new member, Jeff.
My bad. I was muted. So yeah,
let's try it again, shall we? Oh, crickets. On repeat, my long form does bad, but my shorts do well. Should I give up on long form or stick with both? It's a classic conundrum, and we just had a channel which was very successful with shorts but wasn't getting any long form content. So rewind maybe 10 minutes and watch that channel audit a little bit. But any further thoughts on this one?
Making sure that they're targeted. That's really what one of the mistakes that I see people do is sometimes their shorts do well because they're doing just random stuff, but they're not doing the same thing on the long form, right? And that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make. You want to make sure that topically, like the topic you're talking about in shorts and a long form are the same. And then that also is why I'm telling people, like when they're starting off, going from just making shorts to long form, to make those long form videos shorter, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something along those lines, to make it more digestible for short form viewers.
And a little bit of a teaser, Dan and myself had a very interesting conversation with someone you may well be familiar in the YouTube education space. That video is coming out relatively soon. Next super chat comes from Taxman. Why does cheese smell like feet?
Maybe they should switch to craft singles.
That's a Pretty good answer, Dan. Pretty good answer. Raul Reynolds Drawing with the super sticker. Thank you for that. Average Larry, why does AdSense account creation in monetization take so long to process?
It's a different company.
It's a very long time since I did this, but I can't remember it taking too long. Maybe like a couple of days. Has anyone done this recently?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Relevant to the question, I'm not sure like how to answer. AdSense account creation is not. Well, you know why? You know why it's hard for me to answer, because I haven't created a new AdSense account.
Yep.
Like my channels fall under one account, so I haven't done this process in years.
Yeah, but also you have to remember that AdSense, despite the fact that it's under the banner of Google and Alphabet, it is not the same company as YouTube. And a lot of people have learned this the hard way when they have issues with their AdSense account. So you're talking about a completely different company. So that's a part of it, because it's not within YouTube. It's a separate entity. So when you're trying to get that all set up, it can take a little bit of time, but that's one of the things you kind of have to get past. But also why we strongly recommend diversifying your revenue streams and not focusing only on AdSense.
Robnate NA, my news video has 12,000 impressions but 300 views. I think that sounds about standard, right? Seems to be a fairly decent number of views for that many impressions.
Where's that gif of Rob?
Yeah, I agree. Design Burst sends us a super chat every single week. What strategies can be employed to enhance visibility in YouTube search results and increase the likelihood of being featured in recommendations?
Try to do simple thumbnails that are like similar to the people in your space, and then try to cover similarly try to cover topics that people would be searching for. Like do the very basic stuff, right? Like that a novice would be completely clueless about, but you take for granted because you're like so good at it. Like if you're ranking in search, I assume it's because you're showing people how to do something or something similar. So start with the very, very basics and make sure your thumbnails and your titles match the expected style of like people in that space.
Finding gaps in search where there is high demand and low competition. I know it sounds easy to say. It gets harder every day on YouTube. But there are always windows of opportunity, especially if you can be first for something that is trending within that search topic, would be my advice. This is a fun question. Illustrated Finance and Economics. What is a good first frame for an educational short? Like the very first frame. Like we're talking shorts, so we know capturing the attention of a viewer is very important. What do we think?
For a short
dollar amount, money on fire.
Yeah.
Stop scrolling.
The
explosion.
Did you know? Like sometimes it's not about the video itself, but what's being said too. So did you know might be a good one for this channel. Or starting by telling a story. Rob, you did one where you're like, I was scrolling through YouTube the other day. Like, so you're just instantly starting a story, and like whatever's being said, make sure the frame matches obviously what's happening in the video.
Yeah, Dan, you made a video that was sorry, Jeff. Dan, you made a video that was 36 YouTube Shorts hacks for the algorithm.
Yeah,
I think it's called something like that. Do check it out. I'm so sorry for interrupting, Jeff. Proceed.
No, I'm good. I was just saying I agreed.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
I'll give you a
we
ding.
did. Good job, Beth.
Right. Next super chat. Faithful Otaku. Thanks you guys for this live stream. I filled out one of your forms and I hope to get picked for review. I only recently started getting views after uploading Smash Brothers mods and I don't know why. Lol. So my advice would be make more Smash Brothers mods videos. Lol. Because YouTube's found an audience for that content.
Careful. Just any Nintendo mods, like Nintendo has come after that content. So just be ready for them to come after that content too and have a backup plan. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look up a YouTuber called Point Crow. Kind of scroll through some videos. This happened to them with some Zelda mods.
Now that is really interesting. How do you even mod Nintendo games?
You can. Well, you have to jailbreak your Switch essentially, which they don't want you to do. Yeah, and then you do that, and then you can do a lot of things, and they don't want you to do any of those things.
Yeah, that's a good point. Why is my stream deck not working? There, all of the sound effects just played all at once. Fucking stream deck.
Why is this not working?
Time to upgrade that PC, Rob.
Work, damn you!
tired.
Right, Are you watching? I'm just gonna press everything all at once and see what happens. See, it works now. Flipping thing. Right, where were we? Jeff, it's your sound effects for this new member.
Bruh.
So, you've already used that one, you cheat.
Sorry. Here we go. Here's another one for them.
All right.
Hold up.
I think you've used that one, but I do love it. Spookful. I think you asked the question earlier on as well, which is going from a super chat to a member. Oh, hello. Travis MCP asks, am I paying my own job? That's an interesting question. Minus the 30% that YouTube is now just robbed from all of us. Yes. The answer is
Yes.
next question is Slankish again. Why do my videos get low impressions?
Wouldn't be able to really answer that here.
Well, it could be a number of things. Bad thumbnail, bad title, audience isn't interested in the topic.
Yep.
There is something that's causing YouTube to not share your content with an audience that may find it interesting to watch. And those are the questions you've got to ask in your head to understand that. It's not like
topic interest is the worst though.
Yeah, it's not a case of the YouTube algorithm is against you. But YouTube is punishing you because you're a small channel, so I'm going to give you low impressions. That's not the answer. That's the mindset you got to get out of. But you need to ask, I think, more investigative questions than why does my video get low impressions? There's got to be a reason for it. And that is too broad a question to get the answer that you need. Spookful again now. This is a member with a super chat who turned into a member and now a question. You say use curious titles. My video is two horror characters hypothetically fighting each other. It's just versus blank too basic. How can I make it more curious? I think it's a start because people like competition and comparisons. It's a foundational type of title to
Who would win?
use.
Or something like, is Vegeta stronger than Goku? Question mark.
Nice.
Instead of
nice.
Goku versus Vegeta. That's too boring, right? You already know that that's what it is, but how can you make a human want to click it?
Yeah. The viewers don't know the outcome, and maybe you don't either. And like, it kind of plays to their own curiosity in that way.
Blank versus blank plus stakes. So Ken versus Ryu, like Street Fighter 2. Loser gets slapped in the face by Dalsim for 1,000 hours. I made that up on the spot, but it just seems funny as I think about it.
You
remember
didn't know the outcome before you recorded the video, and your viewers won't know the outcome before they watch the video. So yeah, just always think of it from that perspective.
Wow, the super chats just keep coming in here. McDan, does YouTube track copyright claims even when those videos have been corrected and properly removed upon being reviewed for monetization?
I don't think so.
So I think if you fix the copyright through YouTube's tools, once a copyright claim has been released, then the video should be fine to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. I don't think, unless new content ID is now on YouTube and it may flag you for something else later on that was copyright claimed, but they just didn't do it in the past. But it's getting complicated and convoluted. And my general answer to this is try not using copyright claimed footage. Because it's always a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge. Living in a birdhouse. We compose all the music on our travel channel. How do we draw attention to that?
So I saw this question. I had an idea for them. I would maybe use transitions in your content. So you're telling your story, right? And obviously you're going to start with your hook and your intro, and then you're going to get into like the meat of the video and let the music start to play under you as you're introducing that next part of the video. And then maybe as it transitions, cut to you playing the instrument or something like that, you know, just for a few seconds, and then let the music bed continue. And like little things like that will start to embed in people's minds like, oh, wow, You know, like they're making all the music I'm hearing in this video right now. Like,
Nice.
and that's just kind of a cool thing. I wouldn't make that the focal point of the title or the thumbnail, because you're not a music channel, you're a travel channel. But let it be one of the quirks of your content. And yeah, I would find ways like that, creative ways to kind of introduce them.
That's a brilliant answer, Dan. I hope you found that useful. Living in a birdhouse. Enjoy existence, live life, with a $2 super chat there. And then they follow up with a question, but I must confess, I don't understand the question. vidIQ Discord, may I please have a second chance? A second chance for what?
My guess is they got booted, but
Oops.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we usually you can't really recover for something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Our resident community manager, Vicky, I don't know if she's in the live stream. I don't know what's going on there. I hope we can have it resolved. But yeah, I'm sorry if you've had issues there. But we there may have been a reason. I don't know. I need to move on because I don't know how to handle that one. One Thing Books with a $2 Canadian super chat. And that brings us all up to date. Wow, we've managed to do the super chats early, and I think that is a first. But this super chat session was sponsored by vidIQ Max. If you want to get all of your questions answered, not by super chats all of the time, you know, once you're in, you can ask as many questions as you want, and they will be answered by our coaches and the community there. Then take advantage of a 30% off promo code that you can see on the ticker tape there. That says Max Promo. And with that, I need to press a couple of buttons to take that off, to stop that music, and to bring off the banner, because it's gone. But we're going to pick some more channels now. Let's take a look. What we got left? 508, and we'll do a non-gaming channel. And then we'll have to reset the numbers because we've had more entrants. The live stream. And so we have Batrif Padalagal. Again, apologies if I've mispronounced the channel, but you have 100 subscribers. It is a mix of languages that immediately draws me to maybe an Indian channel or a Pakistani channel or a Sri Lankan channel. Again, apologies if I've got that incorrect. But just from the thumbnails, I'm guessing that you're maybe a religious or spiritual channel, but I am finding it difficult to interpret the thumbnails and the titles. And so that's maybe what my advice would be, just generally making these a bit more clear. Think about if you were appealing to somebody who didn't speak any languages, and the only way they could interpret this is through the visual medium of your thumbnails. How would that translate to your audience? That's the first thing I can think of. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I agree. And once again, you have to bear with us on this one because we are doing our best, but we don't understand the context or the text that's even in the thumbnails. One of the things that I will say though is I feel like there's multiple topics happening here.
Yeah, I can see that
on this channel because I'm seeing 15 most famous temples in India, as well as most beautiful devotional songs. You really don't think of your channel as a one-stop shop for everything about this culture. I want you to think of your channel in how can I get the same person who just watched this video to watch the next video, and their love of the culture can't be the thing. If it's going to be about famous sites or famous facts about it, then let it be that. If it's going to be a music channel, it should be a music channel, but it can't be both. You have to decide which type of content you want to do and move forward in that direction. Trying to be an everything channel is not going to be doing you very many favors, if I'm being completely honest, because you have 230 videos on this channel, right? And after 230 videos, I don't think it's working the way that you would want it to work. And I think what it lacks is focus on a particular viewer, as opposed to what it is right now that we can see. But it could be that they're doing a lot of shorts as well, because we're not seeing a lot as far as a ton of content here over the past month. But 230 videos in 1 month, I don't know. That to me is a little, you see, a lot of the shorts are just kind of like not hitting very well in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it probably is because they're all over the place.
Because of a channel, yeah. So the channel is what, almost 2 months old. They've done 230 videos. Now you can post multiple shorts per day. I think that's fine. But there's not that many shorts though. Hang on, is it just all long form videos then? Huh. Seems to be a miscounting there. Of
unlisted
content.
some stuff.
Yeah, or is it all in podcasts? Or is it all live streams? There was no live streams. That's a bit weird. Anyway, I think we will leave it there. I think the main consensus here is channel focus that they maybe need to look at. And so we'll pick a gaming channel. Now I will definitely reset the numbers. So let me just pick out the channel, which is 376. And then I will make sure that after we take a look at Sparks Theory, which I'll just load up here, that we are changing the number and we are auditing Sparks Theory, Gran Turismo 7 streamer and content creator. It looks like they are generally following Gran Turismo with some epic looking thumbnails and then randomly David Attenborough on one of the thumbnails. Are completely throwing me that.
That one did well.
It did. It did, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Is that just so curious that it just made people click? Like, what's David Attenborough driving an expensive, very fast car?
So for this channel, I think a very fundamental thing is missing. And it's the classic, why should I click on this video question. So looking at the latest 2 videos, this game is made for VR and the greatest Gran Turismo race in PS VR 2. So these are just kind of an indication that you played Gran Turismo, in my opinion. But I'm missing the element that makes it like relevant to me. Like what about this video is going to like get me intrigued enough to click? So is there a challenge? You did a race in Gran Turismo, but did you put stakes on it that wouldn't normally be there? Did you do the race, but you tried to win and you can only go in reverse? You know, like a lot of gaming videos these days, when you just kind of play one game, like they really depend on you doing challenges and things that people can't really get anywhere else. It could be that you got the best time ever. It needs to be something impressive or unique in some way. And I know that makes this mountain insurmountable in terms of like creativity. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I have to put out like videos every week and I have to like think about so many things if you want to take that advice on. But I'm telling you, if you can sit down and plan some of those more creative types of ideas, it's going to change everything for you in terms of views and intrigue, you know, on these videos. Because right now I'm missing the intrigue. Why should I click on these? What if I own the game? Am I going to be able to get this experience as a player of the game? I can just put this in my PlayStation and do the greatest race ever myself. Like, what makes it the greatest race ever? You know, so there's so many like unanswered questions. And really, at the end of the day, it just looks like, oh, someone recorded themselves playing Gran Turismo. And I just, you might be putting a ton of work into these. It's just not showing up in the titles and thumbnails. Like, but we got to have that reason to click.
What do you think to the thumbnails, Dan?
I think the thumbnails can be a little bit like movie posters. And
Okay.
I mean that as a compliment in terms of their design, not a compliment in terms of the clickable thumbnail. I'm looking at the latest 2 again, but the ones that I think are a bit better are below that, because it's like, you know, interesting character, some easy to read text. Like whenever you do something like that and it looks like a YouTube thumbnail versus the ones that look like a poster, I feel already more enticed to click, you know. So that's I would just be careful about your thumbnail style being like looking like a loading screen from the game.
I don't know why. I could be completely wrong here. But I feel as if these could have been created through AI.
Oh, maybe. They could have been. Why don't we look and see what's working in the space, though? Like just Gran Turismo 7. But yeah, maybe they're utilizing AI, which would work. I mean, all the car games look really, really similar because they're using real automobiles. Interesting. Yeah, these are definitely look like gameplay footage.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that. They look cool.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like, is there something missing? Like, they don't have a heart, they don't have a soul. They, as you said, Dan, they don't create intrigue. They're just aesthetically pleasing movie posters.
Yes. Now, if you look at the third one, are you using your eyes wrong in sim racing? Look at like the intrigue. The thumbnail's okay. Like
the title helps with that, doesn't it?
The title helps a lot. And it's like you made a video now with a purpose, you know, like, oh, you're going to like teach me something specific about the game. So yeah, I think there's a lot to take away. That's a really interesting observation about the thumbnails. They could be AI generated. I'm not knocking that as a strategy. It's just
no, but by no means. This one could be AI generated, but it's the title that really grabs you, doesn't it? Like somebody looking in like this kind of AI style or computer effect on the eye, and then the known to the unknown. Like, I've never thought that I need to be looking at a particular point on when I'm racing. Like, should I be looking at the horizon, the next corner, or should I be looking like where the position of the car on the road? We'd have to obviously watch. Another interesting thing there, Dan, as well, is that it's a much shorter video than everything else around it. Most videos are 10 minutes plus. That one is a 3-minute video. Be curious to know if like it has much higher audience retention versus everything else. And you know, the argument is, what's better, audience retention, more watch time? Is there something here that suggests that? And this one again, 2 minutes long, 1,000 views plus. The shorter videos get significantly more views. Does it keep them on the channel longer?
Yeah.
For repeat viewings, multiple viewing session, for example. Okay, let's pick another one. And it's going to be a non-gaming channel. 1, 3, 4. Premiere Bro. It's got to be about video editing, surely. Surely it can only be about Adobe Premiere. It's Premiere.
Bruh.
Now, they are using the YouTube style of thumbnails. So is this editing with the intent of helping people increase their audience retention? That's quite a specific target audience.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's tough for us to like sit here and go, oh, well, this audience and this audience, like editing. Like, obviously, YouTubers need to know about editing. And the problem, I guess, with Premiere Bro is the channel name is like, you're kind of assuming that everyone who uses Premiere automatically uploads to YouTube. I mean, I feel like you would have a bigger chance at succeeding if like you were giving Premiere tips to anybody, not just YouTubers. And I know I say just YouTubers as if there's not a lot of those. There's plenty of YouTubers, but you're excluding anyone who might be posting to TikTok, who might be making a reel, a demo reel for like a job interview, you know, like, so are your tips really exclusive to YouTubers, or could anybody take something away from these?
Let's check, Dan. I'm intrigued enough to watch the first 10 seconds to see what a hook is for one of these videos. So let's go with the first one. And
3 tips for you to spice up your
go back to, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Right, so we'll start from the beginning.
Here are 3 tips for you to spice up your editing and increase that sweet viewer retention.
That was a fast, snappy, well-edited hook. Yeah. I thought the audio was a bit meh. I think they may need to get a new microphone. Let's watch another 15 seconds. Green screens.
Let's just say, for example, I want to add something like this, but when I put it into Premiere, it looks like this. Let's fix that. So first, drag your clip onto the timeline, then go into the effects panel and type in Alter key. Then drag that onto your clip.
There's another issue. I don't mind the camera following the mouse cursor. That's fine. It's just the blurriness.
They need a higher resolution monitor to screen record. Yeah.
So we've now asked you to invest in 2 different things, a new microphone and a new monitor.
Yeah.
So, you know, build up things over time, but that is a bit of an issue. It's not the worst because we can still kind of read what's going on, but just keep in mind that, like, you know, that's something to work towards, especially in the video editing space on YouTube.
Curious, different, fun, a particular target audience, though, very well edited. I think there's definitely potential on this channel. We're going to squeeze in another, I think. Let's see what we've got. Thanks to Jeff, by the way. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but
His internet
Jeff,
crashed.
oh, we love you, Jeff. Sorry that your internet crashed. Okay, so we are going to audit this channel called Salvage. They have 1,400 subscribers. And they are playing Roblox Creatures of Sonaria, presumably a mod. And some encouraging view counts here, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm a little concerned isn't the right word here, but like maybe a lack of consistency in the fact that they've only done 7 videos in 4 months. And then they seem to have these moments where they publish a couple of videos close to each other, and then there's then another big gap. Like in the last 3 videos, 2 videos were posted 2 weeks ago, and then 1 6 days ago. I was wondering if you can maybe stagger the content a little bit more. But when they do publish content, the view counts look fairly encouraging. Is this a underserved game within this community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be an up and coming game. Yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, this is money. That's what I'm going to describe this search term as. Finding opportunities. The very first video in the search rankings, 8,000 subscribers, 1,000 views. 6,000 subscribers, 1,000 views. This one here has more subscribers, more views, but to see channels of this size, like a video here, 500 subscribers just 2 hours ago, it's in the first page of search results. Opportunity.
Yep.
Which again, we go back to, you knew about this game 4 months ago and you were making content and getting views from it. This was an opportunity to capitalize on, and you maybe missed, or that window of opportunity is getting smaller. So, we talked earlier, Dan, about the channel that did the racing stuff with the expensive steering wheels, and I'm saying, let's not make more videos because it's like you're making high quality content. Maybe this channel does have to make some sort of commitment to make more content on a regular basis, if time allows them to.
Yeah, if possible, if you can get your schedule to a point where it's like 1 a week, consistently.
Yeah.
That, like, just creating that back catalog of recent content helps a ton on YouTube. And I think my general advice for this channel would be that the thumbnails are good, and I like the principles you're applying to your thumbnails. Execution wise, could be a little bit better, a little bit sharper. Just like, I would continue to improve, and like maybe look up some like Photoshop or whatever you're using to make thumbnails, look up some tutorials on that. But overall, like, you're trying to communicate a clear message in all of these. And I would say it's working in a lot of cases, because you're getting a really, really good amount of views, especially for your channel size.
Boom! I think that might be the outro music as we come to the top of the second hour. But as we outro here, we've got a couple more super chats. Let's see if we can quickly get them in. Black Eyed Bandit, thanks for an interesting live stream. You are more than welcome. We've also got a $10 super chat from Dig and Cut Ike. Thank you. And they just sent us another one, another $5 one, or €5 one, which is brilliant. And then I think this is most certainly the final super chat of the day. Lock Props, any suggestions for how-to tutorial builds take a really long time, a month, but need to still get the content out? Thanks for your live streams. Ooh, that's a bit of a tough one, Dan.
Well,
what do you reckon?
It's okay if your content comes out once a month. Plenty of channels do that. And to do stuff in between, you could do some behind the scenes. Can you take footage from old videos, and maybe like do listicles of some kind, like top 5 most challenging builds or something like that? Like, so there's things you can do in between, but will that pull focus away from the big video you're making for your monthly video? I don't know. But if that stuff is working and that's your flagship content, don't hinder that. But yeah, try to just take what you've already done and maybe repurpose it in different ways.
I would also say as well, if you've done several of these long, take ages to do, and you're not getting a return on investment, then maybe you need to think of smaller projects just to get more content and experiments out onto YouTube without expending all of that time, energy, and resources without knowing what the potential results are going to be. And that 100% is the final super chat. There isn't anything else that we can do super chat wise. We've run out of time. Dan, as always, it was a pleasure to have you on board. Any final thoughts, if you can, in a Yorkshire accent, please?
Oi!
It's not a Yorkshire accent, but we'll take it. Folks, thank you for joining us. Thank you for allowing me to indulge you all on Yorkshire Day. Have a sound one, and we'll see you in a week's time when I will hand the hosting duties over to this man right here. There you go, Dan. Oh my goodness.